Hey, everybody. So this is Theus Robinson, Complex Mind, Simple Man, thinking out loud. So sorry I'm late. I was supposed to do this last Friday. Things got in the way, family stuff. Gonna do it yesterday. Same thing. Plan was to start the day at 8. I was busy watching Tracy's show, so I pushed mine back so that I could take in a lot of her content when she was talking about some third party stuff. So I'm here now. Tracy will probably be joining us here in a little while, and I mean, I don't even have a topic for this evening. The main reason that I'm hopping on here is if you used to catch us on Radical Truth to Power, this was a time slot that we used to come on, and so just trying to keep that energy going. My partner Anna is not able to join today. She was at the No Kings rally, so I hope she had a good time there. Hope she was able to, network and make some new connections. And shout out to her and everyone else out there that was doing their civic engagement. Um, so this episode, this segment episode, like I do something on a regular. This segment is, really just pull up a chair. We're gonna have an open conversation. Um, whatever, whatever. You want to talk about current events? Drop your comments. We'll talk about current events. You want to talk about third party? You want to talk about politics in general? You want to talk about social things? Whatever your heart desires, let's get into it. And that same thing goes for you, Tracy. Anything you want to talk about, we just run with it. So, Tracy, thank you for joining me this evening. We're gonna try not to make this one of our marathons. Uh,
Well, we was gone in last time. I'm like, wait a minute now.
yeah, we were together for quite some time. We could have watched a whole Marvel movie. Um,
Twice.
but how are you today?
Well, considering I just got off a podcast, I'm doing great. I really got uh, to talk to a libertarian that kind of made sense. I'm like, oh, that is possible. Um, so continue to have conversations with people that I don't necessarily agree with, but just to see where they're coming from, that was really a good thing.
Yeah, I caught like the last maybe half hour or so, a little more than that of the show, and yeah, I mean, it's funny. It's really good to listen to someone like the gentleman you had on because he's kind of new to the party. I mean, he's doing like a lot of us are doing, right? We're trying to find where do we fit in the third party space because nothing really truly fits per
Right.
se. Um, but yeah, it was funny though. Where he got hung up is the same place that every libertarian that I've observed or engaged with gets hung up, and that's on the matter of race. Um, it just always trips things up. And he was a nice guy from what I could gather, what he was saying, but it's just like it's
Yeah.
obvious there's not a minority
Focus.
priority
Yep.
like in there.
Yeah, it's
Um,
like, wait a minute.
yeah, because it's funny. I had a good conversation years ago with a libertarian. This is when I first kind of engaged with them, other than in the social sphere, right? The social media world, and it was pretty much the same thing, right? It's like too much corruption, too much government influence, stuff like that. It's like they're like one step more sane than like sovereign citizens, right? Like they're out there. Um, and they would like to say, hey, we now know better than we used to know. So let's just start over from here, right? Like
And
starting
that
now,
goes,
let's do better.
yeah, and that was my point. We said go back. I'm like, I'm not trying to go back to slavery. Are you out of your mind? I'm like, y'all need to really not say that because
Yeah,
that didn't hit me right at all.
doesn't land well for us at all. But what they're see for them though, that's why they're not that far off of. They're really Republicans with some other types of views. So, like when they look backwards, generally speaking, with libertarians, when they look backwards, they cherry pick the best parts of history for
Yeah,
their group,
right.
and they don't factor in any other group. What was life like during that exact same period of time? Right? Because if we just start over, this all we're gonna do is if you start over without justice, this is my take. If you start over without addressing justice, then the people who have everything still have everything. And the people who don't have anything still don't have anything. So we're just gonna redo what happened 200 years ago with the current environment. And
Right.
that's a bad deal. I wouldn't wish that on
Exactly.
nobody.
I think that was like, I'm like, Tracy, don't pop off because I don't think he mean it like that. But I'm like, I heard go back and I'm like, what? Well, huh?
Yeah. Go back to us is not the same thing. Like I made a comment. I think you took the second half. You didn't catch the first half, but I made a comment. It's like states' rights means something completely different to us. States' rights means slavery, Jim Crow, domestic terrorism. Like that's what states' rights means to us.
Yeah, that's what it means to us. I'm like, I don't think y'all understand. And I'm asking this, I'm not just asking for the Libertarian Party, I'm asking for the Green Party, I'm asking for the PSL, Unicorn Party, Black Panther. Well, obviously, I know the Black Panther Party, they're going to have black people. But still, where we at? What's the priority? Are we a priority? If I don't see it, I got to bounce.
Or even, you know what? I agree with you, but even if we're not the priority, then that means nobody can be the priority. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not looking for the black party, but if you don't have a black agenda, you better not have an agenda for any other group either, right?
And that's the problem with third parties. They do, i.e., the Green Party. I think that's when I said when Kalia was on there, she wasn't getting what I'm saying. I'm like, you all have a great policy. You have a policy for the LGBT. No, I'm gonna just do this. The
I say the
rainbow
queer
community.
community,
I
all them
don't
letters.
like that word. I don't like that word. I don't
It's
like
not
it.
your word; it's their word.
I don't like it. I'm gonna
Okay,
just
well,
keep on calling
use the
everybody.
alphabet then.
Everybody, nobody has said Drake don't be calling us the rainbow community, so I'm gonna call them the rainbow community. Anywho,
Okay.
they have a specific agenda for that community, no doubt about it. You cannot deny it. Where is your agenda for the black community? Where
The way
is
you
it?
can get at that is look at the leadership, like the real leadership of whatever group you're dealing with. If you look at that leadership and you don't see your reflection looking back at you, good luck seeing a black agenda. All right. You'll have plenty of black workers because they'll have us to do outreach with each other. But as far as like who's calling the shots, who's setting the national agenda, if you don't see anybody look like you looking back at you, good luck. You know,
Yeah,
it's
good luck with that, because I hope you succeed, but they ain't gonna be with me because I'm not the one. I'm just not the one. I'm not gonna put, like I said, I like that. I just had to be honest. Like that's why y'all don't win, because nobody black. When people think greens, I'm thinking, oh, ham hocks, mustard, kale, collard. Hey,
turn.
that's how I eat. Yeah, turnip. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not thinking of I mean, I know. I mean, I voted for enough Greens to know this, but I'm an anomaly. You're not gonna find too many of me's out there. Matter of fact, you're only gonna find one of me, and that is me.
Yeah, I feel you. And that's why it's like if I'm looking at one of the established third parties, right? So I'm just going to use Green because that's the one I can think of. So if I'm looking at the Green Party, then I know that they're big driver is what do you call it? Hey Parker, how's it going, man? Um,
I refreshed for some reason. I don't know what I was thinking.
oh, okay. I thought you just had to run and handle your business there.
No,
But when
because
I
they
think
had a
of
call.
the Green Party, right? I think of, and I could be wrong, but I still think of them from how they kind of started. So I think of them as being the Green New Deal type of Green Party, right? They're talking about like environmental justice and things like that. But I know they've evolved because I've looked at their platform and you're starting to see other notables starting to kind of like grasp onto them. But each time, and we mentioned this a second ago, each time you bring up, well, what is your agenda for the Black community, right? Because of all the different communities in America, the two at the bottom, economically and financially, right? So job wise as well as net worth wise, is the Black community and the Indigenous American community. Last two spots, right? The Latino community, because it's so varied, however you want to slice and dice it, they'll be right above us though, right? So you hear things about we got to deal with immigration policy. There are more immigrants than just being Latino, but we know that immigration in America is a stand-in for the Latino community. Okay. Kind of like when you say the inner city, we know who you're talking about. When you say flyover country or middle America, we know you're talking about white folks. So each group has little nomenclature that is used. So how is it you have an immigration policy, or at least you should, and if you don't, that's a problem
I don't
anyway.
know if the Green Party has a immigration. I think they're just like open borders. I
See, I
don't
don't
think
think
they
I've not seen nobody that's open
have a.
borders. Like there's like literally nobody
Well,
that I've seen except for maybe there might be some goofy people out there, but like
I've heard a lot
nobody
of Greens
really is
say.
about open borders.
I don't think they just say that the immigration laws need to be changed, but I don't think they have
Right.
like an immigration policy. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, so here it is. So the Green Party, oh, that's United Kingdom. Let me put USA because that's the Green Party, United Kingdom.
Yeah, so that's the real party, quote
Well,
unquote real.
America ain't the fake party.
Well, I mean, they're not. It's like the Green Party in America, from what I've gathered, they are to the Green Party what the Nation of Islam is to Orthodox Islam, right? Like you're real, but you're the American version. Like Olive Garden is Italian, but it's American Italian. It's its own little thing.
Yeah, because this is word salad. So I had to finally find it. So they're like the Green Party USA advocates for humane pro-immigrant policies based on social justice, seeking to end systemic discrimination against migrants. Key positions include protecting undocumented immigrants, establishing pathways to citizenship, providing sanctuary and ending detention in private prisons, and recognizing the rights of all people regardless of status. Why they do all that word salad? I'm like, well, that's a bunch of word salad to me.
Well, I mean, all of it means something, but it basically like it's what you said, right? It's treat people better. Okay.
Yeah, it's like,
Um,
okay, shouldn't we
I
be
agree with
doing
that.
that anyway?
Oh, comment from Parker. Hold on. But Kamala opened the border when Biden put her in charge of it, according to basically every Trump voter.
I mean, people literally will say that. They'll also say immigrants are taking all the jobs, and I'm like, what jobs? Because ain't nobody taking jobs. There ain't no
Yeah,
jobs. Where
ran
they at?
they done ran a whole bunch of immigrants out, and ain't nobody picking up them jobs, man.
Yeah, what jobs you talking about? They replacing it. They're trying to replace it. No, listen, and I don't want to say too much of what I'm going to talk about tomorrow because
Understood.
tomorrow the Sunday show is going to be really good because I'm just about tired. They're trying to replace. Black people are not going anywhere. We are not going to go anywhere.
I disagree.
Stop. See, well, no, we're not going to disappear from the face of the earth. We're just not.
I like this. So here's a good pivot because this won't really get into what your show is, I imagine. But it's an important topic that has really been kind of frustrating me in the YouTube streets, right? Get into the comment section, and the FBA crew, they pop up. Um, you don't really hear a whole lot of ADOS per se. Now ADOS is just pretty much kind of blended right back into general Black American. But I think it's important, and this translates into other communities and other discussions. But it's an age old argument. It's pitting one disenfranchised or set upon group against another instead of looking at the power brokers, right? So you got F. Go ahead.
No, I said we're fighting. They're making us fight against ourselves. It's like,
yeah, it's like we're fighting our own reflections, right? Like you got right now what you have. Pardon me. Right now, one of the arguments you see or the fights you see is FBA, Foundational Black American, which is just another form of African American, right? But there's a group of FBA that is very, very hostile towards immigrations and immigrants, period. And the basis from what I've gathered is really centered on economics. So, and also these people feel that immigrants should show us a little bit more respect because of our history here. I don't think anybody owes anybody that, but it'd be nice if you just don't come over here acting like you're better than me. That's the only thing, right? But you don't owe me like, oh, thank you, Mr. American, for what your ancestors. No, you ain't gotta do all that. But economically, there's this fight about you came here and you're taking our jobs, which is why there's a split with like East Coast Black people and West Coast Black people. So East Coast Black people, for the most part, we ain't got no issues with Latinos. We just don't understand. We don't even understand the situation. West Coast Black folks, a lot of them do have issues with Latinos because immigration influx comes directly through the West Coast. So if you are a carpenter, if you're a mason, if you're some type of like a labor class that has been heavily influenced by cheap immigrant labor, you're looking at it saying, wait a minute, you're hot. This guy got the job instead of me. How is somebody who's not even here legally taking my job? Right. So I understand how that part happens. But instead of being mad at the person who's below you getting your job, you need to be mad at the person who gave them the job. Okay. Because the person who gave them the job is breaking the law. So be mad at that person. Be mad at those companies. Right? You didn't lose your job because Javier or Jose came in and outperformed you in a job interview. No, you lost the job because the company was able to undercut you by giving them the job for less protections, less rights, and less money. Right? Or they might even give them more money, but no protections and no rights, right?
No health insurance, no unions, no.
Exactly. So don't be mad at the new indentured class. In fact, you should be fighting for them, with them, even if they don't give you the respect back, because honestly, they ain't focused on that right now. They're leaving something worse. And whatever this bad situation is better than what they left. So they're not going to complain, and they're probably going to say things like, man, you complaining, you bugging, stop all that noise. That's what's wrong with you Black Americans. You're always complaining. They probably say some stuff like that. But that's because from the position they're coming from, they don't understand what you're mad about.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
But you help them understand that I'm fighting for you. Because it's the same fight that we dealt with coming out of slavery and everything else.
And I think a lot of people don't understand why they are coming to this country. We're the ones that messed up their countries. Our government went and removed their leaders because that's who we wanted, somebody to bend the knee to America. The drug, the fentanyl scare that Trump is trying to get. Well, it's coming from South America. You let it in. You let it in. It's not, they're coming from countries because we have messed up their countries so much it's not livable. They're uh, overridden with the drug cartels. The wages aren't high, and that's our doing. They're not just coming. If somebody told me, "Hey, Tracy, you can make more money in Canada than you could in the United States," guess where I'm thinking about going? I'm
Yeah.
thinking, oh, I need to move up more north and say about instead of about. But that's what I'm gonna do because I gotta take care of me. I'm like, these people are just
Yes.
basically trying to take care of their families. I don't know why you can't see that.
We can't see it because you're both sitting at the bottom.
Right.
So it's still like that's why I say I get it, but I'm saying even though I understand why that friction is so prevalent, I'm saying that we should know better. And this is an opportunity to actually swell our ranks to get more leverage, as opposed to fighting
Yep.
against them.
We're
It's
fighting the wrong people.
right. It's like you just said. Here's a great parallel to this, right? So they leave a bad economic situation, oftentimes a bad situation for their safety too. But so it's not safe for them,
Right.
and economic opportunity where they are is bad. So they come to America, where
Right.
it's compared to where they came from, it's safer, and compared to where they came from, there's more money. Okay,
Right.
so they're coming this way. What are we seeing a lot of like middle class black folks like me, including me, doing? We are trying to take our American privilege and move back that way because we want to go where it's less expensive and less dangerous for us.
Right.
So if you're able to move, that's what it. Now the difference is, I would be going because of economic drivers and safety drivers, right? I want the money I have to be able to stretch further. So I'm gonna go somewhere that has a lower standard of living or cost of living because now my money does better. That's American privilege. Black folk don't like to look at it this way, but that's what you're doing, right? You are exercising American privilege,
Right.
and you go into somebody else's land, driving up their prices and messing up their wages. So we're all doing the same thing. But when you're sitting at the bottom, wherever these things are happening, so black people who are in a labor position who have to fight for work with immigrant labor, they're mad because they're being undercut. And what, like we just said, be mad at who's moving the money. Don't be mad at the person trying to put food in the stomach. You know, it's just like they did with unions, right? The companies will refuse to pay the workers, so the workers will go on strike to exercise their rights. And then what would the company do? They will go find poor black people and bring them in to do the job, right? To undercut labor. That's similar to here. Or when slavery was ending, or when slavery was happening, white folk, poor white people, had nothing either. But they were told if these black people get free, they're gonna come take your job. No, black folks already got your job. They're just not
Yeah.
getting paid for
This is not, yeah, exactly.
it. So, but they needed to create that difference because if you had poor white people and enslaved black people seeing each other as being in a very similar situation, those numbers get too big and it gets in the way. And now we're in a position where we got to do that on a whole nother level. Instead of fighting immigrants over the scraps, we need to look at who's keeping everybody so poor that we're fighting for scraps.
Yeah, and you hear this a lot. People, they pay for hotels for them to stay in, and it's homeless people. Okay, one, nobody has ever said this. This I can't believe it's actually happening. That's hard for me to believe that our government is doing it. Maybe they are. I've heard people say this so much. Well, they're paying for the hotels and they're getting EBT. So you want them to die? That's what you want? I mean, like if people don't have housing and food, those two basic things, that's what's gonna happen. So that's what you're saying? Well, no. And I'm like, well, instead of being mad at them for getting it, why don't you be mad for the government giving it to them? You mad at the wrong person. I keep saying this.
Mhm.
I feel like a tape recorder. You're mad at the wrong person.
Yeah, because part of what happens is people don't want to actually know. People want to feel. If you've heard me over the years, I've used that before. People don't want to know; they want to feel. So what someone has heard at some point from somewhere is the government is giving people hotel rooms and food assistance for illegals. That's what they've heard. But they heard that second and third hand. They don't know any immigrants that's doing it. And if you say prove it, they'll just say do your homework, do your research. No, tell me where
And they
your
did
research is
none.
so I can go read it. Right?
Yeah. Like, could you tell me
Save me
where
the
you got
time.
this from? Oh no, I just heard it. Well, first
So
of all,
here's
stop watching Fox News.
so here's a nugget of truth. Does the US government help illegal immigrants with housing? No, not quite. Okay. But in certain circumstances, immigrants can get assistance. Because if you're here on an asylum claim, if you're here as a refugee, right, you have to be actually classified in some of these positions. If you are here with a green card, meaning you're a documented immigrant, then there are certain programs you might be able to get help with. But just running across the border and we're just going to put you up in a hotel, that's not happening.
Yeah, I've been like, y'all, that's not no government is doing that. Where are you all talking? Well, if you would just no, I don't watch Fox News and I don't watch One News Nation. I don't watch those conspiracy things. No, you tell me how much your state spent, especially sanctuary cities like Chicago is a real big sanctuary city. Well, there were so many black people that showed up to say, well, stop giving them money. And I'm like, wait a minute. Because what was happening was they run out of space. So they had to temporarily, and I say temporarily, close the school down to house them while they found them housing. Well, I don't think they should have did that. And I was like, okay,
Then what should they
baby,
do?
you have virtual schools. Your child can go to school virtually. So they
Yeah,
need a
it's
place
like
to
it's
wait.
so frustrating, Tracy, because and you hit it so hard. If you just give them that one follow-up question, like explain yourself, right? They can't
They
do it,
can't.
right? We shouldn't be sending money overseas. Do you know how much money we send overseas relative to what we spend here? No. Okay, then what you talking about? Right? Do you understand that we send money so we don't have to send bullets sometimes? Like that's a whole plan, right? You don't want war. Guess what we can send instead of war?
Well, we
Money.
can send medicine, mutual aid.
Right, but that's all money, right? And then like a lot of these MAGA farmers found out the hard way.
Oh
You
yeah, they
cut off
found out.
USAID because you didn't want to send money to other nations. You didn't want your hard-earned tax dollars, which you probably don't pay no taxes because you take write-offs, but you don't want your hard-earned tax dollars going to some other country overseas. Okay. Well, the problem there is that program, USAID, where they got the food from was you, Mr. and Mrs. Farmer. So once you got rid of USAID, they didn't need to buy food. They don't need to buy food. They were your biggest customer. You no longer have anybody to buy your food. Now you're poor too. Congratulations. Right? Like trying to keep a poor kid from eating some rice. Now you can't go get some steak.
And it's just so prevalent. You ask them, like you said, the most basic question. Where is you? Who is doing this? How much is the government allocating for? I don't know. Well, then maybe you're the racist and you should like challenge your own racist attitude. Because that's where it comes from me. Because I'm having a real hard time understanding because I'm a person that believes I say open the borders up. This is just me. I'm not. This is my feeling. How you gonna have borders when the land is stolen? You, it's hard for me to get. The land is stolen.
Well,
Texas is basically Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, and
most
it's
of
all
California, yeah, all of it
most
was
of
Mexico.
California. I'm like, that's all once belonged to Mexico, and it belonged to somebody else before Mexico, et cetera, et cetera. But
Mhm.
what I'm getting at is, you're saying they're coming here illegally. What did this country get legally?
Yeah, but here's the thing. So, and that's like a slippery slope argument, or actually not slippery slope. That's just one of those arguments that can never be solved because you're not going to redress history that way, right? Like I can't unenslave your ancestors. Can't do it.
Right,
I can't undo what happened to the Jewish people in World War II. Can't undo it. These things happened, right? Now,
right.
if you're trying to give the land back, who are you giving it to? Because we as Americans, the country, eliminated like 80% of the indigenous people's population, period. Who are you giving the land back to? Right? And then what happens to everything that's built on it? So it's like you can never resolve that. What you can do, though, is you can mathematically quantify what those damages are. And then you can determine sometimes cashing them out ain't going to be the way because it's the number's too big. But you can still quantify it and then put in measures, which is called justice, to make the playing ground more fair moving forward. Like I'm one of the people who says, I'm part of with what may now with reparations, part of it would be a cash payout because I just think that's what you got to do. But that's a small part of the reparations thing because money can never undo what has happened. Can't do it. But you can put things in place that will help people move forward. I don't think it is. I'm not one of the people who says go to white America and take from them. No, like what do you get from that? Now you're gonna go to war. That's what you're gonna do. So I'm not saying take anything from them. I'm saying you have this particular standard of living and this particular privilege in this country, and your privilege in this country is not being non-white. So you have that. Let's put some things in place to help the non-white people start to catch up. But the problem you'll run into, which is similar to what your guest was kind of touching on, is there a person who's hurting. They not trying to hear about your justice stuff, right? Like white America had 95% of the privilege historically in this country. You look at who runs the major corporations, who runs the national corporation, multinational corporations. You look at who runs your chamber of commerce. You look at who traditionally is your mayor and your governors. You look at where the money is. And overwhelmingly, you're going to get a particular type of person, right? You can draw the profile. And that profile won't look like us. Okay. So you had 95% of the benefit historically. But after, and this is why MAGA and people like that default to like a 1950s kind of feel, because that's when they feel the energy shifted and they started losing that 95%. So
yeah, they're at 94 now. I mean,
no,
you lost 1%. Like you really tripping out.
They lost more than that. Like let's just say, just to make up a number, they went from 95 to like 80. Okay, you got 80% of the privilege as an identity group.
Oh, I think they got way more privilege than that.
They do. It's probably closer to 90. They probably ain't losing like 5%. But let's say that then. Let's go there. You had 95% of all the benefit. Now you have 90% of the benefit. Okay. So that means 90% of the people who still, that 90% that has all that benefit, they're afraid of being like the 5% that no longer have the benefit. And the 5% are pissed because they no longer have the benefit they thought they were entitled to. Right. And 5% of a big number is a lot of people. So those people, you're not going to be able to go to them and say, hey, yeah, but it's only 5%. That 5, I'm 100% in that 5%, right? I'm having to watch my family starve. I can't find a job. I'm barely getting by, or if I'm even getting by. My brother or cousin or whatever passed away from an opioid addiction or whatever. They have real suffering. And when the larger discussion like glosses over them, all it does is create more anger. But hear what I'm saying. You can't obsess over them, but you also can't ignore the human impact, right? We look at it and say, you lost 5% as a community. We gained 2%.
Yeah, 2% Let me do a pop lock dance.
Right?
Dance now, or do I get the pop lock later? Which one is it?
Yeah, because we had to share that 5% with everybody
else. Yep.
Right? But you lost 5%, and you want me to feel for you. I'm having a hard time with that. But we have to find a way to do it, right? And the only way I think you're going to get there is we have to focus on what it is to be a citizen. That's the only way I think you can do it, because every American should have a base standard of living based on the wealth of this nation, right? Black, white, whatever your background is, you should not be starving in America. Now,
absolutely not.
Now, how high you rise, but we gotta work that out, because that's a whole nother problem, right? That's capitalism. But nobody should be living at the bottom. Like, we shouldn't have that. Like, our bottom should be better than most others.
If you look at countries like Japan, which that's already a weird country, because they have this weird thing called, they almost literally have no homelessness. Now, I know that Japan is smaller than the United States, and I get the argument when people say, oh,
you don't have diversity.
Right, you don't have diversity. But the thing about Americans is we think that homelessness is a choice.
Yes.
We take out substance abuse, we take out PTSD, we take out all of those factors. We just say, oh, well, you should have done better. You should. It's almost, and this is what I accuse a lot of church people of doing, and it irks me. It's like we're saying, well, thank God it's not me. Yes, you should thank him that it's not you, but also ask him to give you the strength to help those people. You got the first part right, but you didn't add the second. You got to add the second part. And if you don't add the second part, what you here for?
They're doing like the rich man in the parable, right? They went to Jesus and said, how do I get it? So it's like, I like the idea of being.
Yeah, the idea sounds good, but then when Jesus told him what it took, he was like, nah, man, bye. Let me get out of this conversation. I'm done.
I go to church. I put my $50 in the offering plate.
50? Oh, that's too much. 25.
I'm just saying, like, the people who got means, right? So I go to church. I put money in a little offering plate. It's a big number to somebody who ain't got it, but it's nothing to me. You know what I mean? Like, when your paycheck, your bi-weekly, your 2-week paycheck has a comma and 2 digits in front of it.
Yeah, you're doing real well.
Right, you doing good, right? Or even if you make $5,000, let's say you make $5,000 take home every 2 weeks. That's a lot of money, okay? So you go to church and you put $100 in the collection plate. That did not hurt you. But somebody who makes $1,000 every 2 weeks and they go put $100 in the collection plate, that hurt. That was their electric bill. Okay. So it's not the same. But as far as like the feeling you get, you're like, I went through the motions. I did the things. It's not until you're really tasked with that stretch moment, right? It's that stretch moment. So you were saying like, or the way I'll put it, in America, we moralize wealth.
We do, because if you're wealthy, you're smarter,
You're blessed.
You're blessed. And I'm like, poor people are the most generous giving people. We give way more money, we give way more time, we help each other, we do all types of things. And it's hard for me to make people understand when I talk about a country like Japan that doesn't have, basically they have 0% homelessness. That's because their government said we're going to make this a priority. We don't do that in this country. We pass the people that are standing in the street with the sign instead of saying, hey, what led them to that point?
Let's have a thought exercise on that, because I'm a little conflicted there. Honestly, I am. Because like I say that no one should be homeless that doesn't want to be homeless, right? So we have all of these like abandoned hotels because they're outdated, right? So you can't even renovate these things. Ain't nobody gonna try to go stay there. Don't nobody want to go to a hotel where the door opens to the outside. Okay. So a lot of them go out of business. But in my view, the government, whether it be state government, whatever, but the federal government could supplement it because states ain't really got no money like that, especially in the South. But your government could purchase these things, renovate them, and they become efficiency housing. And now you can, people who are getting out of jail or don't have a great paying job or they're in between jobs for an extended period of time, they can go there. It's government owned, it's government housing, boom, right? We don't do it because the average citizen would never go to the government and say, give somebody something. That's not the American spirit.
And that's the core problem, because we think when someone's, as a person that slept in their, until I got to that point, it's a whole different thing. You know, what was that? Like maybe 8 years ago? Yeah, 8 years ago. When you got to sleep in your car and you're working not one job, but 2 jobs, that is the hardest. And because we tell people, oh, if you just try, you work hard, I was working hard.
Well, hardest working people ain't got nothing.
There you go. That's my point. And it's like, but our whole mind frame, like this is a good example. When we were having the stimulus discussions, Joe Manchin with his literally said they're gonna spend their money on drugs and weapons. No proof, no study, no, he just naturally
just ignorance and hate. Yeah.
Exactly. But there are people that think like him. Like when we talk about expanding SNAP, well, I don't want to pay money for them to sit around and do nothing. How do you know that they're sitting around and doing nothing?
It's not even like, most people are like that, period. Like people want help. People don't want to help. People like the idea of helping. They don't like the act of helping, right? Because it does something to them internally. It's like this thing. I don't know if it was global, but it's definitely American. So I don't want to give something to you when I don't feel you worked as hard to get it as I did.
as me. And that's what irritates me. I don't know if they're doing this in your state, but in Indiana, you cannot use SNAP benefits to buy sodas, candy
Hot
bars,
food.
any of those like what we call junk food. I literally don't care what you spend your SNAP on. I don't care. It's not you having a candy bar ain't got nothing to do with me. If you want a candy bar, go ahead. I mean, as long as you're not buying alcohol. Now, I don't think you should be
I
buying
don't care if you do
alcohol
that.
with them. Well, yeah, essentially, I don't. What does it matter to me? But we've gotten into like these work requirements. That's another thing people don't
And
realize.
means
People say
testing.
means testing. They should have to work to get SNAP. Most people that get SNAP work. It's like until you like most people don't they literally think somebody is sitting at home and watching
Yeah,
well
but here's the funny part.
boring.
Here's the funny part of all that. So they paint that picture, like you said. They think that there's these people sitting at home, just waiting for their SNAP benefits and sitting in their HUD house and just doing nothing. And there are people like that. But you know what they never think about? Someone like Barron Trump, someone
Oh,
like
Elon Musk, Bill Gates,
Elon Musk
Warren Buffett.
kids, right?
Mhm.
These are wealthy people, wealthy adults that they themselves did not create their wealth. They're living off of the wealth of someone else. The reason why these high and mighty and pious people don't look at them is because one, they want to be them. That's one. And then two, they're like, well, that's private money. But that private money is relying on the tax breaks and the shelters and all the games that it can be played to keep them wealthy. So you're worried about this fictitious or this, okay, it's a real person, right? The analogy I sometimes use is you can have a person who literally games the system 100%, right? They ain't got no job. They got SNAP, they got housing, they got Medicaid, okay? All in, they're probably scamming the system for about $50,000 a year. All right. Now,
Maybe, and that's too high. But
well, I mean, because housing, but let's say, but that's what they're doing. They're gaming the system for $50,000 a year. And if you live somewhere in the South, $50,000 a year is a good chunk of money, folks. If you're out west, $50,000, you're probably still poor. But $50,000 a year on the East Coast, on the Southeast, I'll say, and across the Midwest, that's decent money. Now, if somebody is scamming the system for the full 50 grand, that means they can never do better than that right there.
yep.
Because the moment they make a little bit too much money, the whole deck of cards falls, right? Because now they get kicked off of every one of their benefits, and the break even is so far apart, right? So like if they got like a job working at fast food, making $8, $9 an hour, and they got all these benefits that makes them live at 50,000, and then you say, well, they're frauding the system. If they make $11 an hour, they lose it all. $11 an hour is incredibly poor, people. So they're trapped. They're literally trapped, because that means you have to jump from making $9 an hour to making $20 an hour in order to escape that bubble.
And I tell you what, $20 an hour is not enough.
It's not, but it'll get you to where you can.
It'll get you further than $7.25. And that's another thing. People don't realize the minimum wage has not gone up since 2000 and something, like the early 2000s. We've been at $7.25. And guess what? Indiana is one of those states. And you hear this is why our governor, I'm definitely talking about this tomorrow. This is why Mike Braun, the governor of Indiana, is rated the worst governor in the nation. This man says the most idiotic things. He's one of these ones. Indiana has like a $4 billion surplus, which means we got $4 billion. It's just sitting there not doing a dang thing. not going towards Medicaid, not going towards Medicare, not going towards roads, highways, nothing. It's just sitting there. Someone says, hey, Governor, we've got people that are losing their SNAP benefits. Why not use not just 1%, use 1%, which I think is like $4 million or something. My math is terrible. But use a portion of that to kind of, help. He said he literally almost he suggested that they deserved it, that they deserve to have their benefits cut because they sit at home. I'm like, you are an idiot.
But I guarantee you he's a Christian.
He says he is, because I'll say, he's not.
Whatever. But you know what I'm saying, though.
He'll say it all day, but I'm gonna like prove it. You show me anywhere in that Bible.
Prove anybody's a Christian, and then prove anybody's not. So
that's real easy.
No, it's not.
Oh, that's easy.
What's the test for being a Christian?
Well, first you got to believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, that he was buried, he was crucified, buried in the tomb, rose 3 days later. And it's coming back again. In addition to that, you also have to have the attributes of Jesus.
That's not one. That is not a requirement.
He's literally said, "Feed the poor, clothe the naked." That's in Matthew 25.
Yeah, but those are his commandments for his followers. That's true. But here's how you satisfy that: I pay taxes, and that's what they do.
Oh no!
I'm telling you. I mean,
you're telling me I'm not hearing you, but I'm like, yeah. Then I'll be like, fool, shut up. Because I would tell them a tree is known by the fruit it bears. And you ain't bearing none.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not trying to turn it into a religious argument, but I'm saying that's how they come at it. You can twist it any way you want to make it say what you want out, right? But that's also just a little side turn. One of the things he said, many will say, Lord, Lord. Now, I know you're not. Like, you can say anything. You can claim anything. That don't mean that's what you are,
and
right?
That's the sad thing is people actually are like, well, I don't think they should get money to eat candy bars. I literally don't. Don't care. That's them. Heck, I eat a candy bar every now and then. I have type 1 diabetes.
My take on that, and I had this conversation with some of these holy rollers around me every once in a while, but I do it mainly just to make them look at themselves and I move on. Because see, my take on things is whatever I want to see less of in society, my approach is what can we do to minimize the need for that negative attribute to exist, right? If I want to see less homeless people, or better yet, if I want less people to be poor, then I want to find out how do I make less people be poor? Not how do we have less poor people? Like, that's not the same thing, right?
It's not.
Like, just rounding people up and shoving them into a prison because you feel that they're never going to rise to their economic potential. That's the wrong answer. That's punishing people for existing. If you want less people committing crimes, and we know that one of the primary drivers of crimes of opportunity is poverty.
Absolutely.
So let's attack poverty. The best ways to attack poverty is create employment opportunities, make housing available. You can make it transitional housing. We can go back to what I said about the hotel motel thing. You buy one of these or you buy some of these shopping malls, turn into converted living space. Now it's transitional. You can only live here for 6 to 12 months with one renewal. Okay, cool. But while you're there, your rent is something like something ridiculously low. Okay. But part of us letting you live here is because we've also given you a job. Okay. So we've created a job for you to go work, and we're paying you for that job, and we're supplementing your living expenses for a period of time so that you are able to now save your money. And then let's transition you to the next level, right? We can have a whole nother level of housing for you to transition to. Rent will be higher, but it's still helping you transition as you are building up your income. This costs America literally nothing to do this, and you would be making money along the way. Not just the person doing the job, but the person who owns that real estate, they make money, Okay, the people who service it, they make money.
As much as I want to agree with you, and I do agree with you in theory what you're saying, the problem is that you have corporations, privately held equity firms that just literally hold on to property. They're not doing anything with it.
Because
In
we
our
haven't
city,
given
and
them
I
a
don't,
reason. Here's how you do it. All right, let's say we have these private equity firms, okay, and they buy up they build entire communities. I got one right here by my subdivision. There's a brand new subdivision they just built, huge, all leasing. None of it's for sale. Most of those houses are empty as empty can be, because to a private equity firm that owns it, it doesn't matter who lives in it. If I can get a couple of people in there, then that's fine by me. Because really, I just want to hold this real estate, let it improve in value, and then I'll start selling the homes 5 years from now. But until then, I can create rent revenue off of the few people who do move into it, right? Totally defeats the purpose of building all these houses. Because if you would make them for sale and make them affordable, people will buy them, and then you will make your money and you will move on. But that's not the game that they're in. Here's how you flip it, though. You have to incentivize, or you have to reward the outcome that you desire. So if you want private equity to get in the game of making the housing affordable to lower paid people or poor people or formerly unhoused or whatever you want, whatever your thing is, then you need to create either tax incentives, or you need to make really aggressive subsidizing programs, right? If we want more families under age 30, all right? So let's say you build a community, because they got communities that are for 55 and over, right? We got them all over the place. So if you can do that, I don't see why you can't say, we're going to build this community. And in this community, the maximum age is 30 years old. This is for people who are 30 years and younger with at least one dependent, and we will sell you the house, right? You can do that. Somebody's going to sue you because they're going to say it's discriminatory. But if we can do it on the up end, I don't see why we can't do it on the down end. But now you're able to and then the government incentivizes the owners of these houses that are selling it, or the leasing companies that are leasing them. But now you get young people to actually have somewhere to go to start their families. Young people aren't starting families right now because they can't afford it.
Yeah, child care, that's another issue. Again, I said this on a previous show yours I was on. I'm like, I didn't realize as a non-parent how expensive child care is.
More than
I
your
had,
mortgage.
I mean, I didn't know. It didn't pertain to me, so I never thought about it. And people were telling me how much they pay, and I'm like, dollars? You
Mm-hmm.
pay how much? You're paying how much?
At one
And
point, my wife went to work basically to cover daycare. Like she made a little bit more than daycare, but like daycare for our daughters, and this is years ago now, but for 2 kids, we were paying right around $1,800 a month.
And this is why people are opening up daycares and ain't getting no type of certification, no type of training, no type of anything. I
That's
said what I
because they're
said.
hustling the system. But there's the other reason people are doing it is because they have to, right? They're doing these under the counter daycares now, where it's like, just in the old days, what would it be was you would go to your auntie house and she
Yeah,
just
you go
had
to grandmama house, be like, can you watch your
right.
kids while I go to work?
But now families are so spread out, we don't have that. We don't have that anymore. Most people who have that type of access are either immigrants because they live in clustered communities, or they're already poor. So now you're all together anyway. But
yeah,
the people who are paying daycare expenses, a lot of times we're families that are spread out. So what, I'm gonna drive an hour and a half that way to drop my kid off, and then drive an hour and a half that way.
Y'all be happy y'all children get to kindergarten age. Just like, yes, school, no more
Oh, it's a
daycare.
good feeling. Yeah. First checkpoint, they get out of diapers. Woo, hallelujah. They ain't in diapers no more. The second checkpoint, they go to kindergarten. Oh, great.
But
Woo.
then you got to do after school care.
You do, but it's less expensive. Instead of paying $1,200 a month, you're paying like $800 a month. Now, 800 is still a lot, but it's a lot better than 12.
But you got 400 coming back. I just didn't realize. I just did not and you look at I don't know if I'll talk about this more, but Trump wanted to do this program that basically said, hey, white women, I need you to have babies because the population's increasing. It's like, I'm going to give you $5,000 for a child. People, MAGA went crazy. They thought this was the greatest thing. I'm like, yeah. Now, I don't have any children. I have never been pregnant, never had a child. I don't know. I'm almost certain it costs more than $5,000 to raise a baby. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure of this, and you're cheering.
So my take is this: like we were talking about, like my views for like third party and stuff like that. So one of the things I would like, if it was up to me, let's say I had that kind of pull and authority, one of the things I would want to see is I believe we'd have to invest in America, right? So the future of America depends on young people, right? We need young people to have children because those children will one day need to take care of older people, right?
This will be us.
That's how the country works. That's how any society works, right? So, given that, we should invest in it and see what you just laid out from Trump. That is that type of a deal, but it's racist, right? Like they're saying we're going to target a particular group. And the way that we can target them and you can't call me racist is I'm going to just say, if you are a married couple and one member of the household does not have an outside job, then we'll pay you this subsidy provided you make X amount of dollars on the one person who is working, right? They create this thing. So now poor people don't get the money. Middle class people get the money, but you're only middle class because technically that one person working would be upper class if the other person was working too, right? So they're playing a game, right? Me, I would say that as just part of being an American citizen, then, and I mean, and this is going to be, this part is a little controversial. I'm real big on the American citizen part. So the parents need to be American citizens. Or at least one parent need to be an American citizen. All right. Not just, well, you're an American and you had the kid, and so the kid's an American. Yeah, the kid's an American, but I'm just saying this is how we because we need to be able to track you by your social security number, all that good stuff. But we should have a minimum amount that we pay to every family, regardless of wealth. Right? So you got one kid, you ain't gotta wait till tax time. Every month, we send $2,000 per kid under age 18. So you got one kid.
We were doing that. We were actually doing that with the child tax credit.
But, well, see, the thing about the child tax credit that Manchin and Sinema broke, yes, we did for a very, very, very short period of time. And we saw how much it really helped poor families and poor children.
Yes, I'm like,
but when you don't care about poor people, that doesn't do anything for you. But that's exactly what I'm saying we should do. Don't have it like right now. I have to wait until tax season. And at tax season, I get $2,000 per child as a tax credit. Well, my child's 17 now, so I don't even get the full 2,000 anymore. But you get that tax credit. I'm saying instead of having to wait till the end of the year to try to file for a tax credit, we just pay you. Now, I wouldn't pay $2,000. I would pay like every single month per child up to, let's say, 4 children, right? Because, well,
who's got more than 4 kids running around?
But hear me out, though. The reason there's a lot of reasons somebody can have 4 children or more, but you have to be able to get this passed. And to a conservative, they will look at someone who has more than 4 kids. Now they're going to create that welfare queen stigma and all that stuff. That's what they're going to do. Even though Most people who got more than 4 kids are white people who make good money. Okay. So, but I'm just saying, personally, you can have any number of kids. I really don't care. But if we had to pick a number, I say 4 kids. Okay. Because realistically, in today's environment and society, why you got more than 4 kids? But whatever. That's just you. From a government standpoint, every child gets $1,000 sent to them, just like we used to do the rebate checks during COVID. $1,000 per kid up until age 18. Okay. That's just across the board. So if your family makes $10 million a year or your family makes $10,000 a year, you're still getting $1,000 per kid. I ain't worrying about trying to figure out how much money you make. Okay. Are you a citizen? Social security number. Let's go. Then we need to make pre-K all the way through your bachelor's degree, 4-year degree. That should be not free, but it should be taken care of as part of our public education system, right? Our taxes should just pay for that. Because in this world, having just a high school degree, you are messed up in this current world, okay? So 20 years ago, you could do it. And if you're able to have some work history.
Well, if you go to trade school, because there are the trades.
There are the trades, but that's post K through 12.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Right. So I'm saying, and that's a good point. So college or trade school, right? That should be covered as part of our tax system, part of our public school system. That should be covered. You want to go to a private school, go do it. Okay. That's up to you. That's always been an option. It will continue to be an option. But as far as for the national interest public school, it should cover pre-K all the way through 4-year degree or your vocational training.
Here's where I think plans like that kind of leave people like me out. There is a significant portion of our population. We don't have children.
Okay.
We have 0 children. So I would say, well, what about us? We got expenses.
You do. But see, this is where I was so frustrated with like the paying of the college thing off stuff. Keep in mind the framing that I'm talking about. I'm talking about an investment in America. So,
well, yeah, okay.
So what people were saying, I don't want you to pay I don't want my taxes to go to paying their college degree. I didn't get a college degree. So because you couldn't have something, somebody else shouldn't have something. And if we're going to be improving the social safety net and we're going to be taking care of people, including you, because now we're going to have universal health care. We're going to have, right? You didn't get that payment because you're not in that situation, right? Now, if you want to go adopt 4 kids so you can get 4 kids worth of money, then go do that, right? But that's what I'm saying. Like, that would be the pushback. Well, what about me? I don't have children. Like, you have elders who will say that, and you have people who didn't have children voluntarily or medically, whatever the situation was, they didn't have children, right? So why don't I get a payment? You don't get a payment because you don't have the dependent. So if you want the dependent, go get the dependent. In fact, that might help us with the adoption situation a little bit. So if that's something that motivates a person, then we should make sure that that's lined up. But if you don't have the expense, then you don't need that extra money. So that's where I would say with that. But that then takes you down the next part of that path, just as that segue. Now we have to fully fund and take care of our adoption process much better. Because right now we just kind of, and
it costs the money that it costs to actually adopt a child is you had to hire an attorney, have court costs. I think there should be more, like it should take longer to adopt a child. Like they need to go to psychological visits. They need to do counseling with the child that they're potentially going to adopt. Most people want to adopt bait. Like it should not be easier. And I know this for a fact because people have done it. It should not be easier to adopt a child that doesn't live in America than to adopt a child that lives like an actual United States citizen.
I disagree. I think it should be reasonably hard to adopt a child, period.
No, it should be. What I'm saying is, if I want to, let's just say I want to adopt a child, well, from Africa, from Haiti. I'll use Haiti as the example. It's way easier for me to adopt a child from Haiti than if I say I'm going to adopt a child from Indianapolis, Indiana.
That's
It's
true.
easier. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we
It's
need to fix
easier
that.
for me. That's a portion that needs to be fixed. We also need to fix the foster care system because you
Absolutely.
have a lot of people that are a lot of children that are aging out. When they get 18, they get a trash bag or a tow. Like, what are they getting? They're getting moved from house to house to house.
Our foster care
And that
system
becomes
is shameful.
terrible.
It's shameful. There's not
And that's
enough
because
oversight.
everybody wants babies. Everybody wants the small little babies and the cute little. It's very hard for an older child, like 7, 8, 9, 10, and up, to get adopted or to be in the foster care system. And then we tell them when they're 18, you're out the system. Well, you didn't give them any kind of counseling or no type of.
So let me help you a little bit with that. So all you're saying is almost 100% true. Now, when they turn 18, because they have been technically a ward of the state, at least in Georgia, what they do get is they actually get some help going to college. So
Yeah, they don't get that in Indiana,
yeah,
I don't
I don't
think.
know what they do in other states, but here in Georgia, it's not enough. Let me just go ahead and put that out there. It's not enough. And one of the hard things about being a foster child is you've gone through that process where they keep moving you around. All right. So you're a child going through that up and down, in and out, right? And then um, when you do grow up and you age out of the system, unless your last foster parents, if you had any, are like still attached to you, because that happens, right? You don't have any support. You're
None.
done, right? Like my kids, my eldest is 26. If she needs money or she needs help, guess what? She can still come get it, right? What are you gonna do when you're 18 and you have no support? You gotta get it how you get it, and you might get lucky, or most people won't, and then you end up in another situation. So I am 100% 10 toes down with you on that. We need to invest in the things that you want to improve, like I said. So that means our social services, we got to pay for that. There's no reason why your social worker is making just a hair above what it takes to get SNAP benefits. That's dumb.
Ridiculous. And then we wonder, well, why aren't people wanting to get into social work? Gee, I wonder why.
All right. So now you got one social worker and they have 300 kids. How are you watching over 300 kids?
You can't. You can't do it.
Can't do it.
And it's like it's American exceptionalism. We say we want things to be better, but we don't do better. We don't, we just, okay, well, as long as I'm good and then my family's good. And it's not, you got to think outside of yourself.
And the only way to do that is through government structures. But here's the thing, and you hear this a lot, and this is mainly out of the white Christian community and stuff, but they don't want the government involved in these things. They say the church should do these things, but then the church isn't doing these things. And then we have a lot of abuse of minors in the churches. It happens everywhere, but it shouldn't happen in the church, right?
It shouldn't happen anywhere, but yeah, you're right.
Right. So we have so many things, but these children are treated as throwaways. So no one's truly watching them. And so if you're not watching them, guess who is watching them? The predators. Wherever there's prey, there will be predators. And then the predators are going to go with the least amount of oversight. That's where they're going to head to. So these kids are just set up and sacrificed. They're literally sacrificed in this country.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of people, when they think of a child who is up for adoption, they think of a baby, like you said. But there's a lot of reasons that a child ends up in foster care. Child ends up in foster care because their parents had issues. Child ends up in foster care because their parents died in an accident.
And the
Child,
family didn't step up and take care of that
or the
child.
family couldn't, or you couldn't find the family. How many
Yep, we
families
couldn't
are
find it.
estranged from each other?
Absolutely.
Right? So we have to, as a nation, this is why I keep coming back to my vision for the new third party. It is not about any of these different ethnic groups and dynamics and stuff. All that is important. Like, this is very important. But we got to focus at what type of nation do we want and what should it mean to be an American? If we can set that bar, then it'll start to cover all these different things. Because if every child gets $1,000, if every household with a child gets $1,000 per child, guess what? It doesn't matter if you're rich or if you're poor. That $1,000 came, right? If education is available to you from K through your bachelor's degree, doesn't matter if you're rich or if you're poor, you have it. Okay. Now, there's always private options, like I said. If you have universal health care, now you don't have to be poor to get on Medicaid, and you don't have to be rich to get a good insurance plan. You all got access to quality insurance and quality care, right? These are the things that it should matter because you are an American. And then just to hit this so we can probably end for the night, but immigration, because I keep harping on citizen. Well, America, part of its identity and its slogan is that this is a nation of immigrants. Okay. Well, then if that's part of our claim to fame, doesn't it make sense that we should have a better immigration system? Like, if that's how you market yourself, it's kind of like Burger King not having burgers. Like,
well, they shouldn't, because their burgers are disgusting. But anyway, what I'm saying is that's set up by design. The billionaire class has set it up that way, right? Why raise the minimum wage? Right? Why am I gonna pay? Why, if I can pay Hector $7.25, but I gotta pay James $20.25, guess what I'm gonna do?
But you know how you fix that? In our current system, people have to care. Right?
Yes.
Now, I don't know how much impact my one little goofy self makes, but like I do not shop at Walmart. If Walmart was able to track how much money they get from me on an annual basis, it might be like $30. Because one day I had to wander in there because I was in a hurry and I had to get something. I don't shop there. And the reason I don't shop there is because of how they historically and traditionally treat their labor. So I'm not giving you my money because I don't believe in it, right? Fast food. I generally don't do regular fast food, mainly because, and it's not like, oh, that's because you make good money. No, it's not because I make good money. All the food is expensive now. I don't care where you go. You go get a meal at a fast food spot, it's all $12. It's ridiculous how we've gotten here. But if you can't pay your people a decent wage and give them decent hours, because it got to be both, you shouldn't be in business. Like,
I agree with that.
Like, I'm gonna hate to pick on a company, but like a company, I don't want to say the name because I'm saying something negative, but let's say a low value fast food spot.
McDonald's. I'll say it. McDonald's.
McDonald's is paying their people better now because they put so much automation in it. They ain't got as many people working. But let's do Burger O Place, okay? And you are paying your people $8 an hour so that you can say I don't pay minimum wage. You're paying them $8 an hour. They get no benefits, and the most hours they get is probably 20, 25 hours a week. So that means they leave your Burger O Place and they go to Taco O Place to work some more hours. Still ain't got no benefits, but now they're working 50 hours a week, no benefits. They got to go to 2 different jobs to get the 50 hours. They either living in their car, or if they're lucky, they can be in an efficiency motel that's taking all of their paycheck, so they got to stay there anyway, right? You shouldn't be in business. And then what I've heard someone say to me when I floated this in the past, they're like, so where are these people going to work then? I don't know, but they ain't going to work there. Like, saying that a company that abuses its employees should be allowed to exist because at least it's paying its employees something is a similar argument to saying that the plantations needed to keep their slaves because at least the slaves weren't homeless.
No, they learned a skill.
Oh, and they learned a skill. Yeah, that's one of their new tropes. So, no, if that's the situation, if you make your money off of the poverty of your own staff, you should not be in business.
But that's what I'm getting to. So you have companies, Walmart, Amazon. That's another one. Amazon. Well, Amazon pays a little better, but you got to work.
Hard.
Yeah, they just worked much harder. Amazon, Target, Dollar General. And I could just keep naming.
This ain't gonna be popular, but I would push back on the Target thing. And I'm biased because I used to work there. And so
I don't think Target pays, and I'm like, y'all got to do what?
Target pays pretty good, depending upon what you're doing.
27? If they not paying 27, they ain't paying good.
Who paying $27 an hour?
Yeah, that's what I think a good wage is, 27 an hour.
That's what you say, but based on what?
Where you live, your expenses.
Okay, $20 an hour. $20 an hour
is nothing.
$20 an hour, assuming you work a 40-hour work week. That's $41,000 a year.
And taxes gonna take it, and then your health care gonna take it.
Yeah, it does. But Tracy, what you talking about? I mean, that's why I'm pushing back. $41,000 a year is still decent income. It ain't great income, but how replaceable is your skill set? How hard is it for me to hire someone else to do exactly what you do? That's what sets the value of what you do, right? So that needs to be factored in there too. Because see, what I hear people say, and I'm sorry, this always gets my back up, right? Because it's easy to spend somebody else's money. People be like, well, no, yeah, $27 an hour. That should be the bottom amount that anybody should pay. Okay, all right. How the business going to stay in business? Well, then they shouldn't be in business. Okay, I just made a similar point because I was saying if you paying somebody $8 an hour, you shouldn't even be in business because you don't make enough money to justify being in business. Okay, cool. So we're going to move that bar from $8. We're going to move it to $27. All right, cool. Now, what businesses do we get rid of for people who pay $27 an hour? That's going to be your calls, your call centers, your nursing staff. They're going to be all these different things. And they say, well, no, we need to pay them people more. Oh, okay. So now we're going to pay them more. What's more? What's more? Is it $30 an hour? Okay, so we'll move to $30 an hour. It's only $3 off for 27. So it ain't going to be long before you say it should be 35. Right? Now, what does the bookkeeping look like on that? What do the prices have to move to in order for me to pay everybody $27 an hour or $30 an hour? Nobody's done the math. They just go off of their feelings.
Actually, there is a group that has done, and I can't think of their names. There is a national group that will tell you how much it costs to live because it varies by state.
I'm not saying how much it costs to live. That's a different argument.
I think the salary should be based off of, and that's why I say a living wage instead of a minimum wage. Because I don't believe
salary is based off of the revenue of the company
and the market.
No, salary is based on the revenue of the company.
I got it. Hold on a second. I got to answer my door.
Yeah, do you think?
You got to take me down.
Gotcha. So I'm all for paying people more. Let's go ahead and put that out there. I am all for it. I just want people to have a better argument as they move into that discussion. Okay? Because saying that we should pay somebody $30 an hour, just using that as an example. So let me see what. So $30 an hour would be the equivalent of like $62,000 a year. Okay? Now, if you're going to pay somebody the equivalent of $60,000 a year, what kind of skill set do you think a company is going to want in order to pay somebody to do that? So then anyone who doesn't have that level of skill set won't even get hired. And the reason they won't get hired is because the company won't have the revenue to support that amount of a workforce. Okay, so I don't know. Let's see, if a company has, 2,000 employees at 60,000 annual salary. All right. So now that's $120 million a year in payroll. So now the company has to make $120 annual revenue. It has to make whatever it costs for their real estate, whatever it costs for their insurance, whatever it costs for their taxes, whatever it costs for the retained earnings. They have to make all of that money. And that's if they're paying everybody the exact same amount of $30 an hour. Now, how many businesses are making $120 million a year? Not as many as you think. So what happens to all the other people as far as their jobs are concerned? They don't have one. So then the next part of that would have to be, well, that's why we would have a basic minimum income, right? All right, well, cool. Where's that money going to come from? It's going to come from taxes. Well, you have less people working, so that's less people paying taxes. So that's less money going in the coffers. You ain't got that many rich people. They ain't going to make up for all of that. That's why they hit us all over the head with our money. So if you cut out the ability to pay taxes, you cut out the ability to hire people, you have just destroyed your country. So it's like, I get where people are coming from, but I'm like, do the whole work, do all your work, do your whole homework, right? Don't just focus on, I need more because costs are too high. Costs are too high because we've allowed for the wrong incentives to be sitting out there, right? This goes back to what I was saying, like you incentivize what you want. So cost of living is too high. Cost of living is increasing faster than our wages are. So What do we do about that? One thing I would say is, like we're talking about with the housing, right? You can have the supplement system and stuff like that. But then the other part of it is we get into the tax code, right? If you increase your rent by more than 5% for the year, then you get a tax penalty. So we're going to hit you over the head on your taxes because you went above whatever number we pick. We say 5% in this particular example. And if you rose your rent by 3% or less, you get an added tax benefit. So I'm incentivizing you to keep your rent rates growing at a slower pace, because a lot of us, your job, if anything, might give you a 3% raise. If anything. We used to get a 3% cost of living. Young people out there, we used to get a 3% cost of living increase, and then we got our merit increase. That went away in like 2002. And we ain't seen it since. Now we all fighting for a 3% raise, and it's absolutely disgusting.
We used to get bonuses. Remember bonuses, people?
Now you got to be in the right position to get a bonus.
Or the company eliminates them.
Yeah, because like I get a bonus. It ain't a very big bonus, but I get a bonus. And then the taxes eats up half my bonus. So I don't worry about that. I don't complain about that because a lot of people don't even get a bonus. So how am I going to sit here and complain that they took half of money that isn't directly tied to my money, my job anyway? But that gets at it, right? So I think that cost of living is a true issue. I just don't think that the solution to cost of living is our income. Because our income, it's like you're fixing it from the wrong end. The people who are making housing and medicine and food and transportation more and more expensive, they're doing it because the money's out there, right? They see, like when they used it as an excuse to increase prices when COVID was happening. Oh, these people got stimulus checks. That means they're sitting on a whole lot of extra money. You gave somebody $2,000.
$1,800.
That was the last check, right?
Trump gave 12, then gave 6. That was 18. Then Biden had 14.
It was 16 because he said 2,000 or something crazy like that, and we got $400 less than we were supposed to, something like that. But whatever it was, but either way, I'm just going to use 2,000 as a round number.
Yeah,
$2,000. What $2,000? $2,000 helps the person in the moment.
Yep. But then
right?
what
If
you
you
gonna
couldn't
do
pay
next
your
month?
rent, that $2,000 just paid your rent. Okay, if you couldn't go to work, $2,000 that helped at least keep you from being evicted, maybe. But
Yep,
it was like
everybody-
it happened here, a couple months later, happened again. No, this ain't like people just sitting on money. Stop it. The people who are sitting on money were the people like me who could work all the way through the pandemic. So you gave me that money, that was extra money for me. But somebody who couldn't go to work, which was the whole reason for the stimulus, they needed that money. That money was gone as soon as it got there. And it was
before they
gone.
even got it.
Yeah, and then it was gone back to the people who were ripping them off in the first place.
So you have secret recordings of CEOs saying, "Yeah, we're gonna raise the prices."
Yes.
No reason, no, just because we can.
Don't even make up reasons anymore. Like this thing going on right now with the war, all these prices are going to be jumping. They're going to be jumping. Even if you were not heavily impacted as a company, you will never let a crisis just go by. So the crisis happens. It gives you an opportunity to increase your prices. Are you going to be the company that doesn't increase your prices? If you try to be the company that doesn't increase your prices, you can get sued. Because in America, the shareholders can sue you if you didn't go get the extra money.
And Arizona tea has been 99 cents since I've been in high school.
But they keep themselves privately owned. If they went and became publicly traded, they would be in trouble. So it's so
and I'm chomping on my food. I'm like, and what are you gonna do? But it's like I said, we gotta it's happening.
All right, so let's finish the show out on the segment out on the war thing. All right, cool. Thank you, Parker, for getting me off my high horse there. All right, so what do you all think about the increasing likelihood of some sort of ground operation in Iran with more Marines being sent to the region? Trace, I'll let you go first.
It's gonna happen. This is what Netanyahu wants. Basically, he just found somebody stupid enough, Trump, to do his bidding. This is what he wants. So it's going to happen, and unfortunately, it may lead to World WW3. I'll say WW3 because I'll be definitely talking about this more tomorrow because I just think this is what they wanted. And to all the little Trump supporters out there, this man lied to y'all face, and y'all just sitting here like, well, no, Iran's got nuclear weapons. No, they don't, but I know who does have nuclear weapons. Basically, the operation now is just blow up a bunch of buildings. That's what they're doing. They're just blowing up buildings.
Israel has a policy, most disgusting thing in the world to me. They have a policy called mowing the lawn. All right. So for those who aren't familiar, what mowing the lawn means militarily is that you attack your adversary, sometimes at random, just to keep them from advancing. right? So you want them to have to spend their money rebuilding their communities so that they don't have the money to rebuild their economic engine, to build their economics, to build their military, whatever it may be. You want them to spend all their time, energy, and money just having to put the buildings back together. And you do it every couple of years. They did it. Israel does it to Gaza. They do it to Lebanon. They're doing it to Lebanon right now. They do it to Iran. It's just what to me, it's a very dark, disgusting policy. But they don't get blamed for it because if you say anything about them, then they'll say that you're being anti-Semitic. But yeah. So to your question, Parker, I honestly don't think a whole lot about it, to be fair. And my reason for it is whenever America's in an economic downturn, which we are in, okay, and we're in it not just from my gut feeling, but because the first thing that this administration did was it dismantled all of the reporting agencies from the government standpoint that tells us how we're doing economically. It's one of the first things it did. Shut down all the reporting for what's happening medically and what's happening economically. So the only way you're getting information now is information that comes from the private sector, which I don't know. Who knows how accurate it is? Who knows how inaccurate any of it is? But the fact remains, the private sector doesn't have the same gravitas that the government does, right? So that was one thing. That was like a dead giveaway. The other thing is we know we've had massive layoffs and rolling layoffs and all these different things. And yet the stock market is still doing like this weird thing of doing okay. That's an incongruent situation. So that tells another indication economy is screwed. Then you got just look around you and listen to your state lawmakers and your Congress people. They're always crying about the debt and things like that. The debt, we've already had billions of dollars roll into the debt. I think we even hit $1 trillion roll into the debt just in this past year. That is like, if you look at your personal finances, if you aren't making a lot of money and your standard of living has not changed, all right, so let's say you make $50,000 a year and you were doing fine in 2025. Now it's 2026 and you make $40,000 a year. You lost your job, you got another job making $40,000, right? $10,000 loss. But your standard of living hasn't changed. Even though all of the costs are going up around you. Where you look next, let me see your credit cards. In 2025, you didn't have any credit card debt. You were living at a level, you had no credit card debt though. 2026, you're making less money, same standard of living, that extra 10,000 is all in credit. So it's costing you more to live than it was before. That is what you are getting when you look at how our debt is like taken off faster in the last 18 months than it has in the last 10 years. And our debt's been climbing the whole time. It's just like on rocket ship fuel now. So everything says that. So how has America traditionally pulled itself out of deep economic issues?
I got it. War. Yep.
Right. So you got all these weapons that we've sold around the world and that we have stockpiled in our armories and stuff around the country and everything. Those don't make you money. In fact, they're getting in the way because they're taking up space. So let's go to war. So we'll start using these things. That means our government, because one of our biggest industries is war. So now our contractors get new orders from the government to build more weapons.
Yeah.
That shows an increase in revenue, even though it's government money going to these contractors, it still shows these private companies making more money, right? So now you've juiced the economy by pushing money into the economy. It's just like doing a COVID stimulus check. It's just that instead of sending it to the people to go spend in the stores, we're going to send it directly to the manufacturers to make us some more weapons, and weapons we can then sell around the world. That's what America does. So yes, Bibi Netanyahu in his quest is why they're attacking Iran right now, but it's every bit as much America needing to juice the machine. And Iran was a convenient target. So the ground troops may or may not happen, but my thing is, I know they sent them, but I'm saying it may or may not happen because it's a setup. But my biggest question on the point of ground troops, if Israel started the war, right? That's the American story right now. America went to war with Iran. Well, America's in this excursion with Iran. It's a war. It's an illegal war. But it went to war with Iran because Israel was going to attack Iran. And if Israel attacks Iran, Iran was going to attack American bases. So America had to attack Iran with Israel. Not America needed to stop Israel, but America needed to help Israel because Israel is going to do it anyway. All right, let's take that as a truth. So that means it's Israel's war. Why aren't their ground troops going? No one in big media is asking that question. Instead of Israel sending its ground troops to Iran, it's fighting in Lebanon. It went to the side to attack another country that they do from time to time, mowing the lawn. And they're trusting America to use our soldiers to go into Iran. So they're wasting potentially our lives for money. That's kind of the American way. So we may or may not have ground troops go in. If they go in, I don't see anything good coming from it. It will escalate the war further, I believe. We've already seen that now the Houthis, which is an Iranian ally, they're stepping up. They've been sitting back up till now. So now they're stepping up and they're fighting. I can't remember what organization is in Lebanon, but they're fighting back.
Hamas? No, that ain't right.
Hamas was Gaza.
Yeah, I was going to say Hamas is Gaza, so that's not right.
Yeah, I can't remember which one it is in Lebanon. So this is going to spiral because now that the Houthis have entered the chat, this will give Europe an excuse to enter the chat because Europe has been trying not to be involved. So now Europe's going to enter because you're fighting our ally. Somebody else's ally jumped in. So now I got to jump in for my ally. And now we go into the world war situation. So,
and of course, I think it's a big old distraction from the Epstein files, but that's just me and 75% of Americans.
I think that it's tempting to think that, but I think the economic drivers are far more important than the Epstein thing, because the thing about the Epstein situation is no heads have rolled even up till now. We just had another major dump of documents come out, 2 weeks ago? And I know people say, well, that's why we haven't paid attention to it, because we're dealing with the Iran thing. But I think it's because people truly don't care anymore. People were pushing the Epstein file controversy because in the beginning, they really felt like if we could just expose the right people, then at least some heads can roll. And it didn't happen. And so not only is Trump sidestepping it, because we've let him take control of the government, so he's not going to investigate himself. So he's sidestepping it. He's protecting his other people on the list who are also predators. Okay. But all along the way, the American people truly don't care. They really don't. They want this as a political weapon, either a weapon for my side or a weapon for their side. That's all Epstein is. It's not about these young ladies. And the proof that it's not about these young ladies, in my opinion, is how many children went missing during Trump's first administration with them separating children from their parents. We don't even know, but we know it was thousands of children. Where do you think those children went? Right? They didn't go back across the border. So they're here, just floating. What happens to a child who doesn't have oversight and protection? Somebody goes and gets them. How much energy has been put into, at a national level, going after people who traffic children right now? Nope. In fact, a lot of the FBI agents, because that's who is tasked with human trafficking investigations and enforcement, that's the FBI. They're led by a knucklehead. That's one issue. And then those resources were redirected. They're not even investigating at the same level. So if people really cared about these children, then they would care about all the children in the shadows, the child who is right now being abused and victimized. But that conversation isn't happening. It's all Epstein file. That man dead.
It is political. I'm not going to doubt that, but I do think it's playing a factor.
I think it plays a factor. It hurts him because it's one more thing showing how terrible a person he is. Like, it's not even like, at this point, there's no proof you can give us that's any worse than what we already know. But we want more because, that's how twisted we are. So we really just want to know more, but we don't want the actual accountability yet, which is unfortunate, but it's where we are.
Yeah, and it's both Democrats and Republicans in that. It's not just Trump.
Oh, no, and on top of that, this is wealth, okay? This is wealth.
Yeah, this is
obscene wealth using children as playthings, all right? And that crosses all the political spectrums because it's about wealth and power and abuse. That's what it is, right? Mm-hmm. But I still come back to, like, if people really cared, then we would really dig in a lot deeper than what we do. And we don't. We treat it like a Jerry Springer everlasting story. They had Howard Lutnick exposed for lying about not going to the island. And the documents revealed he did go to the island to see Epstein with his family on vacation. He still hasn't been fired. Why would he be fired? All right, I don't really deal in conspiracy theories, but I'm going to throw one out there. And I haven't heard this from anybody else, so this is just me and my imagination. I think one of the reasons Trump was able to get as far as he was able to get. Now, no one thought he was going to cross the Rubicon the way he did. But I think the reason why he got as far as he did, what if he was an FBI informant or a CIA informant? Right? If he was an informant for the Federal Bureau of Investigations or the CIA, then he could do crimes under the purview of the government because he's giving information on other people. Now, if that's happening, then these organizations would never tell on Trump. Because if they tell on Trump, that's telling on themselves. And they won't do that. It's no different than when you take somebody you caught in a bad circumstance in the drug game and you flip them and you start making them give you information on other people. I'm just saying, like, just kind of think about it. That'd be one reason why we get close, And then they'd be like, well,
You're too close now, so us. Wait a minute. But yeah.
but yeah, hope I answered your questions there, Parker. Tracy, you got any final thoughts?
Tomorrow's show is gonna be a blast. It's going to be a blast. If nobody watches my show, you've never watched the Sunday show, watch it tomorrow because I literally have a 5, maybe 7 steps, maybe 10 steps on how third parties can actually win elections in 2026. The time is now. I'm also going to talk about, and I hope we remember to talk about this. Cesar Chavez, for some reason, has gotten canceled, and I'm trying to find out like more details
I don't know who
about
that is.
this. You don't know who, wait a minute, you don't know who Cesar Chavez is. Cesar Chavez, civil rights leader, Latino, leg
Oh, that's when you
union.
mentioned to me the other. No, I don't think that's the same guy you mentioned last time. Last time you mentioned was the black guy that I said didn't look like he was black.
Yeah, that was Tariqa, but I'm talking about
Yes.
Cesar Chavez. Yeah, Cesar Chavez is somehow getting canceled, and I Cabinet's gonna come out years after the man died. I can't. So I'll talk about that. I'm definitely
Oh,
gonna
okay. Yeah, I'm a little familiar now.
I'm definitely gonna talk about what I think third parties have got to do to win. I'm also gonna break this down, and I've made allusions to this on my show. If y'all don't stop with the Trump is gonna try to stay in office, I'm going to literally talk about why that's not going to happen. Because I'm tired of Democrats using that to scare people. Like, stop it. Y'all just using this to scare people. Stop it. But so I'm going to talk about that.
Wait, say that again.
Democrats, and yes, it's Democrats are doing this, and some people in the Green Party are doing this. They're using the fact that Trump has floated running in 2028. And I'm like, I don't care. He can float that he's going to run in 2028, 2029. He can't. He served his 2 terms. It's over. It's done. It's not going to happen. And I'm going to explain using the Constitution why that cannot happen.
So I'm gonna go ahead and not dig into it because I know you're gonna cover it on your shows. I'm gonna cover it from my point of view. I'm not interested in anybody telling me it's not gonna be that bad if they're the same people who told me it wasn't gonna be that bad with this cycle. Like, because the same people out there talking about I ain't gonna be that bad. You know, it's already bad now. You know what they said before we ended up with this administration? Oh, it ain't gonna be that bad. It's already bad now. So I don't trust their judgment whatsoever. Right? They ain't got no plans for us. They just contrarians. Here's how Trump could run. Who has stopped him so far? Historically, we have had presidents who've had more than 2 terms. He has control of a Supreme Court that would benefit mightily of him staying in office and staying in power. So, and the Congress that ain't gonna do nothing. The Democrats don't have enough power to stop anything, and the Republicans don't care. They actually benefit from the corruption and the nonsense. So, while yes, the Constitution does bar him from having the 3rd term, that is something that can be argued. And if it's argued and not protected by this Supreme Court, whatever the Supreme Court says, that is constitutional. No matter what. If the Supreme Court says that the 13th Amendment had a flaw in it, then guess what? That is now the law of the land. If the Supreme Court says, you know what, Trump, we're not going to get rid of birthright citizenship altogether, but if one of the parents is not a U.S. citizen, then no, they shouldn't get citizenship. That is not a law of the land. So that's my pushback there, Tracy. How likely it is, we don't know. But nothing has literally stopped this man so far. And nothing that should stop him is in place to stop him. And further, the thing that could help us stop him, per se, which would be impeachment and removal, would mean a massive, massive Democratic win in the House and the Senate.
And I don't think
this race
is.
I don't think
impeachment. I don't even think we should discuss impeachment. It's not going to happen because the Democrats may win the House, but they're not going to overtake the Senate. And even if they did overtake the Senate,
they'd have to win by 60.
You have to win by 60, and y'all know good well John Fetterman is not gonna vote to impeach Trump. It ain't happening. So don't. Yeah, so, but watch tomorrow's show. Watch tomorrow's show. I'm gonna
y'all definitely watch tomorrow's show. I'm probably gonna miss it, but I'll try to watch it. Tracy, it's at 7, right? Okay, 7 p.m. Eastern, folks. Make sure you tune in to Tracy Carson's show. Get her perspective on this, man. But Tracy, thank you so much for joining me.
You are so welcome. Sorry, y'all, I was munching on my food. I'm like, I took my insulin, so I got to eat something, but I'm cool now.
Yeah, I should have ate something.
Yeah, because I was like, I can't eat at 11 o'clock no more. A lot of people are saying that but
a lot of people are saying that for 10 years.
Yep.
They will prop that dude up, pop some pills down his throat, shoot him up with some adrenaline.
Like, let's just say that Trump is removed. That means JD, no personality, no spineless, reckless, PayPal bot Vance is president. So what you would actually have to do is you have to impeach Trump and make up a reason to, if you're going to do Trump, you got to do me. I'm saying do them both. Just get them both at it if you're going to do it.
If you're going to do it, we should impeach and remove the entire cabinet.
Exactly. I don't disagree with you.
But here's the problem that presents. One, like you just said, getting it through the Senate. But let's say in a magical realm,
they woke up and got a spine. They were like, oh, yeah.
He finally did something that was so bad that even the Republicans are like, yeah, let's get him out the way so we can get Vance in here. We need Vance in here. Let's get him out. Let's get him out. Let's get him out. All right. So let's say they did that. So one, you would get Vance. That's one problem. But let's say
he's a bigger problem than
right, because there's nothing mentally wrong with him. He's just bad. So let's say you can get rid of Trump. Let's say you can get rid of Trump. You can get rid of JD Vance. Now you got Mike.
But hold on, because if the midterms went the way that they're projected to come, that would mean spineless, speckless Hakeem Jeffries would then become, technically, he would become president of the United States.
Can you imagine Hakeem Jeffries? I can't even imagine him as the speaker. But okay, that would be the best case scenario. But if they made these moves, they would probably make it before the election for the very reason that they don't want that to happen.
Yeah, if they were going to do it, they would do it now because they'd be like, nah.
Yeah. So, and then let's say you get past MAGA Mike. Now you're at Hegseth. So it's like we waited. This is where I have so much gripe with the naysayers who didn't give us a plan, who only gave us complaints. It's too late to worry about this stuff now, man. Like, your votes were needed back there. So now we need your votes coming up. Will you give them to us?
And here's another thing he never thought of. If he can run, that means Obama can run again.
Could. But is that the answer?
That's not the answer, but I'm just saying it's a possibility. I'm like, you run it. Why can't he run?
Now, personally,
I mean, if it came down to, because I'm a third-party voter, and I'm just sitting.
You still wouldn't vote for Obama. Don't play.
No. And he would just say that.
I'm not going to let you get away with it, Tracy. I'm not going to let you get away with it. You wouldn't vote for Obama either.
If it was just them two and no third-party candidates, I might.
No, you wouldn't.
It would be conditional.
You wouldn't vote for Biden, and you wouldn't vote for Kamala. You're not voting for Obama.
I didn't vote for Biden because of Tara Reid. That's literally the reason I said absolutely not.
Whatever your reason, you have built an entire legacy of fighting against Obama. Obama with the drone strikes, Obama with the economy, Obama with being weak, Obama. You not voting for him. If you wouldn't vote for Kamala against Donald Trump, you sure not ain't voting for the king of that part of the Democratic Party. You ain't doing it. And there ain't gonna be no third party option at the presidential level that's viable. Not gonna happen. Not this cycle. So you right back where you were. We've had this discussion. And that's where a lot of the other third parties are gonna be. Because y'all so in y'all principles, y'all ain't moving off of that. So you're just gonna sit back and wait and watch and see what happens, and then talk about how you were right all along about how bad everybody is. And that's what's gonna happen. Our only hope is those of us who hate the Democratic Party but hate the Republicans more will show up and vote. That's one hope. The other hope is those of us who don't even believe in the voting institutions anymore, but care enough not to have the Republicans continue the onslaught, they'll show up and vote. That's about it. Like that's
What's
the hope.
the plan to get those people there? That's what I want to ask somebody that's Democrat. What's your plan to get them off that couch?
They don't have one.
And I say this because they don't want one. But that's me.
I agree with you. I think the Democrats are intentionally lazy.
I'm glad you said it and not me, because I haven't voted so long. I'm like, I can't even think of the last Democrat that I actually was like, okay, I'll vote for this person.
The last one that was worth his salt was Obama.
I mean, there are now two. This list has gone up to 2 Democrats, and I'm like, you know what? If they was running for president, I probably will vote for them. Now my list is up to 3.
Who are these people?
But yeah, well, you know I'm gonna say Nina Turner, always, and forever.
She's not running for president, though, is she?
I said if they ran for president, I would have and they were Democrats, I would vote for them, and I would not hesitate. I would not hesitate to vote for Charles Booker. I would not hesitate. I would do it, and I'd be like, oh well, third party, sucks for you, too bad. I don't know enough about Pastor Frederick Hayes, but he hits all my 5. He hits all the 5 things. I'm like, well, I'll vote for you if you do this, and he's hitting all 5. I'm like, okay.
I don't know much about any of those candidates except for Nina. And where I'm sure they all fail for me is what is their economic agenda and what is their international agenda? Because if you can't fight a war, then you can't be president.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's the international piece. But then they can just get somebody, get a running mate that's strong in international. That's what Trump did. Trump is not good in
Trump didn't get nobody strong in international. His negotiating team is Jared Kushner and the other guy.
Well, that's like Obama. He knew that America wasn't going to vote for a black guy. So he said, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get this white guy.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you there. But what I'm saying is the president has to have the ability to be commander in chief. If you don't have an international agenda, then you don't need to be president. You need to be the one person in the government that is full circle America, 10 toes down America. So if you can't fight a war, what you gonna do? Because see, we can say we're not gonna start a war, which I think every president should agree. We do not do wars of aggression. We do not do war. We out of the business.
But what's the plan if we're attacked?
That's different. That's not a war of aggression. If we are attacked, we go all in.
Yeah, but I know she's more pacifist, which I'm not a pacifist.
Can't be president then. You gotta be ready to kill some folks. So it's like that's where a lot of times.
Hey, I'm making progress. I didn't name 3 Democrats. I named 3 Democrats.
Yeah, but you pick 3 Democrats that there ain't no way in the world they running for president.
How do you know that?
Guarantee it.
You're probably right, but I'm just saying, you talk to him,
Like
you know this.
guarantee.
But yeah,
Oh,
watch my show tomorrow. That the Democrats will lose. I'm telling you now, they will absolutely lose. They will lose, lose, lose.
I don't think so. I think that
And
here's my thought.
if Pete
I,
Buttigieg is you gonna get licked from the top to the bottom because America ain't ready. That's
I
all
agree
I'm
with
gonna
that.
say.
I agree with that. We have now tried the woman angle twice in
And
this
it's failed.
era, and the sexism is just too strong for America. So we know that's going to be a problem. And if they can't get past sexism for two of the absolute most qualified women to be president, you think they're going to put a gay guy and his husband in there?
And they have children. Not in this country. They ain't gonna go to the black church and no, it ain't gonna
Black
happen.
folk, you got the black religious people, they're gone. You got the Muslims and the Islamists, they gone.
They
You
gone.
got the evangelicals, they gone. You
Oh,
you
the
know
evangelicals say what? They're gonna go to vote against for the Republican just because.
just because. Yeah.
They're gonna be like, oh well, I don't know nothing about this Republican. Sure, he's with the KKK, but he's not gay.
Yeah, he can be, you know what? America will let him be vice president though. Provided they like the president enough. But
Well,
Gavin Newsom, go ahead.
Gavin Newsom just cannot, not in my opinion. He just cannot.
Gavin Newsom is the absolute best candidate for president from the Democratic Party, hands down, closed chapter. Now, is he the best president? No. But is he the best that America can offer? Yep. He looks like a Kennedy. He's smooth. He's pretty.
The Kennedys, he's pretty. The Kennedys, they not great looking people. They not.
I mean, relative to their time, like they were considered beautiful back then. I don't know how, but they were.
Yeah, like,
hey, did you see Joe Biden's old pictures? That was a good looking dude. So, whatever. But anyway, he's got the pedigree. He's got the look. He's vanilla enough. The money. He's vanilla enough that rich people, regular people will all vote for him. Poor people don't want him. But if you ask a person, why don't you want to vote for Gavin Newsom? They only got two reasons: corporate money, and he's governor of California. That's what they got. That's not enough for me. He can be president. My problem with him being president, though, is he's not a reform president. So I don't trust him to fix any of the guardrails.
Anything?
He will be back to business as usual. That's what he will offer.
What else I'm going to talk about? I want the audience to think about this and watch my show tomorrow. I'm going to talk about Senator Chuck Grassley. Has been in office since I was 7.
Isn't he like 96 years old or something?
He's 92 years old. What the heck, America? I forget what state he's from, but whatever state he is, y'all got to be joking me. He could be JD Vance. I mean, JD Vance does not. The nominee is going to be Mark Rubio. Let's just get that straight right now. Mark Rubio will be. Yes, he will. Out of the Republicans, he's probably the best of the worst.
No, see, here's the problem with Rubio.
Oh, he's not. Weak. He's Cuban. Never mind. Let me take that.
And he's Cuban. But Rubio might be a nominee. JD could be a nominee, but
I don't think
don't sleep on the Trump family doing what Trumps do.
Yep.
They will wait, and then they will say, "We're running Don Jr."
Or it won't be Ivanka.
It won't be Eric because he ain't smart. Don't nobody like Eric. But they'll take Don Jr. just because of his name. Just because of his name.
I would say they would take Ivanka over Don Jr.
They won't take Ivanka because she's a woman, and they're not supposed to have a woman president. And also, they don't like Jared because he's Jewish. So,
well, she's Jewish too.
Yeah, but she's Jewish by conversion. He's Jewish by like family or whatever. They're not. I don't see that one happening. And plus, Ivanka has distanced herself from the family.
I mean, if you're gonna pick the Trump children, I'm gonna say more people because she's pretty, she's not
Yes,
ugly, so she's very attractive. She's way smarter than
she's smarter than all the rest of her siblings.
all of them, really. You can see why she's Trump's favorite. She's the most like him. I think she's a whole lot more like him than her brothers are.
Yeah, I think she's. I think it's because she's a smart one.
She's also smart. Don
Dumb and
Jr.
Dumber are not. Yeah, but I'm just saying, who will the MAGA base vote for naturally without having to be reprogrammed, and who will the Republicans vote for because they think that's what the MAGA base wants, and that's Don Jr. If it's not JD Vance, it's Don Jr. Marco ain't. Nobody likes Marco. Like nobody. Like nobody really likes JD. But at least he's a white guy.
But his wife is not.
His wife isn't, but she's not in the line of succession. And we all know that he's racist even towards his wife.
And she takes it. She sits and accepts it. And is pregnant with their fourth child. Melania can't run. Thank goodness she cannot run.
Yeah, it might not be 2028, but I'm just saying that would be the natural play, though. Like
he endorses
Don
his
Jr.
son.
in 2028 would be smart because it would undercut Marco and it will undercut JD, and there wouldn't be nothing they can do about it. They can't fight it. They can't say nothing
because they want that MAGA vote.
So they're stuck. If you run Don Jr., both of those guys have to shut up.
Okay, but who's the token black person?
Token black person this cycle.
I think it's going to be two of them.
I think Byron is going to throw his hat in. And there's probably some black Republican rich guy that they'll just.
I could name three: Byron Daniels or Byron Donaldson. What is his name? Byron Daniels.
I don't know.
I don't know what his name is. The guy from Kentucky. Well, not Kentucky.
The guy from Florida.
Florida. He may win the Florida governor's race.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay. So if he doesn't win, he's definitely going to run for president. The Secretary of HUD, Mr. Hunt.
Don't nobody know who that man is.
You just said name. So I don't care what it is. Didn't nobody know who Tim Scott was, and he ran. And I do think Tim Scott's going to give it another shot.
Oh man, Milk Dud needs to stop. Don't nobody.
I do.
Yeah, he went and got a whole white fiance.
He's married now.
Is he married to her though? I don't think he married. We ain't heard nothing about him or her since then.
Is technically go to Wikipedia. Do that. Go to Wikipedia, type in Tim Scott. You're gonna see his. Yeah, he's leading in the polls by so much. I can't see Byron Daniels losing. Now, could it happen? Sure, I've been wrong before. Yes, Tim Scott is actually married now. But he still don't cry as much as Cory Booker. Fool, don't you?
Yeah, Cory went and got him a fake wife. Tim went it. No, Cory didn't get married, I don't think.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did. So they both went and got them some fake wives for the election, and it didn't work out for them.
How you gonna say fake wives? They might really love those women.
I hope they do. It smelled like a Melania play to me. Hey, I need to get me a woman real quick.
If you look at Cory Booker's wife, exactly a replica of Rosario. I'm like, dude.
Well, I mean, hey, when you dated Rosario, I mean,
she didn't even vote for him. She was dating him and endorsed Bernie Sanders. Boy, that should have told you something. She dating you and then endorses the other guy. I just went, what? And stop all that crying. I'm just saying.
I mean, nobody really likes him anyway. But
and Kentucky, We may have 7 Black United States senators. Yeah, he really is. He's leading by so much. I'm like, I cannot see him. But he still owes his ex-wife a lot of money.
But that's all right. Keep your crazy down in Florida. I don't care.
Yeah, that's why I didn't put his name. I'm like, he's going to be governor of Florida. And
Yeah.
guaranteed.
If you say so.
Because I don't even know who the Democrats are running. I know, who's running with the Green Party? I can't think of his name. But yeah, watch tomorrow's show. It's going to be probably one of my best. I got a lot of stuff to talk about tomorrow. And the fact that Chuck Grassley has been in office since I was 7. 7. And y'all just keep on voting them in.
Okay, so he announces his engagement in September and marries her in November. Okay.
Well, that's you gotta plan the wedding.
No. That's only 2 months. Who get engaged and married in 2 months? I guess you grown. You grown, so you don't wait.
No, because you could, like, if you've been dating a year and a half, they could have dated 2 years, got engaged in September, like, oh, let's get married in November. That's a long engagement is not even necessary.
Yeah. Let's see how long they stay married. And then you got Clyburn doing his thing again, and you got who's the other one that won't go away?
Maxine Waters.
Yeah, Maxine won't go away. Schumer may or may not go away.
He's not up for re-election until 20.
Is he 30?
2030, I think.
Is he? Ugh.
Yeah, because he just got senators are 6 years, so it should be. Yeah, he was re-elected in 2024, so he's up from 2030. So yeah, I got to put up with old man Chuck. And the Fetterman is also up in 2030. That should be like the easiest replace our United States Senator vote ever.
Oh, he should have been recalled.
I don't think Pennsylvania has recall.
I don't know that they would let him, but he should have been recalled.
Just to recall a member, because technically he's a member of Congress. I don't think a member of Congress can be recalled.
Let's see. A Pennsylvania state senator cannot be recalled by voters. Pennsylvania law does not provide any provisions for the recall of their elected officials in that role.
Yep, he can't be. That's why I was like, I don't think he can be recalled. So
he'd have to be impeached, I guess. And he hasn't done anything for that. Bernie need to let this be his last term. He's been here forever. Get out of the way, bro. It's a crime against the voters are pathetic. Okay. The fact that Bernie has had to stay in this long to fight this long for us, shame on us. Like, bruh, we ain't putting nothing good in there. I mean, and then we do have a chance to put something good in there. We don't do it. So, all right, well, let's see.
I'm waiting for y'all to tell me why Hakeem Jeffries is going to be a good Speaker of the House. I'm just waiting.
No, he won't be. But he's good for money. So.
Oh, he is up in 2028. So he is up in 2028.
Yeah, but he'll get beat or he'll leave, like Parker said. I agree. He's going to do the Kirsten Sinema move. I guarantee. Here's my bet. I'm not guaranteeing. My bet is 2027. Fetterman will flip parties, especially if the margin stays close. So if the margin is close and so he can have a power play, he will flip parties. He'll either go independent or he will go Republican, just out of spite.
But if he doesn't, if he plans on running again, that's a very dumb strategy.
He's not going to run again. He's already been there
Well,
long enough. He ain't gonna run again.
he's only served one term.
Doesn't matter. How much money this man got? This man got millions of dollars now. All of them do. He's gonna do like Kirsten Sinema. I'm gonna put my finger in your eye. I'm gonna flip parties, and then I'm gonna make a lot of money during this year and a half that I flip parties, because now Republicans are going to flood me with money, and then I'll leave. They will pay me off to switch parties, and I'll do it. That's going to be the Fetterman move. Thank you, Parker. But yeah, we have now hit almost 2.5 hours. So let's shut it down. Thank you, Parker. Thank anybody who watches this and gets something from it. I saw there were like 2 viewers. So unless the other one is Tracy, thank you, whoever you are, for watching. If you catch this on repeat, I appreciate you watching it. Drop some comments. Let us know. This was just a freestyle, make it happen kind of thing. I think if I'm able to come back on next Friday, I got some family stuff still going on. If I'm able to come on next Friday, then I think I'm going to go back into my third party plan and start to actually speak more towards some of the things I brought up. So I can actually present my thoughts and a little bit more detail on some of the plans. But hey, appreciate y'all. Tracy, if you want to tell them one more time what it is, and then we'll shut it down.
The Sunday shows tomorrow, 7:00 p.m. I will be talking about the 5 to 7 to 10 things that I think that third-party candidates can do to win in 2026. I will also be talking about why the heck they trying to throw Cesar Chavez under the bus now. The man been gone for so many years. Why you bringing up this stuff now? And just general, what do I think coming out the draft? Because you know why that show exists. It's my holdover show. And why the heck is the NFL playing a game in Australia? I'm still trying to figure that one out.
Yeah, make some money over there. Why not? I hope all the NFL teams should go to Australia and play in the outback, hang out there, set up a whole new like sports facility, and just stay there and cancel the NFL. But if you got any topics or show ideas, things like that, here's my email address, complexmind@gmail.com. Feel free to drop that for me, and maybe we'll pick that up and make that a topic on one of the shows. Thank you again, Tracy, for coming to hang out with me. Make sure you go and check out Tracy Media. You search for you under Tracy Carson, right?
No, Tracy Media 74.
Tracy Media 74. Got it. So on YouTube, search Tracy Media 74. And thank you, everybody. So this is Complex Mind, Simple Man, and just thinking out loud.